Hello and welcome everyone to another edition of WSATV. I am Laura Rubenstein, your host and producer of Women's Speakers Association Television. We are having a great show today. I can't wait to get to our speakers. And just so you know, I'm a digital marketing consultant, and my passion is helping women and other entrepreneurs bring their good work out to the masses. And today we have some experts with us who I'd like you to meet and hear what the good work they're doing is. So let's meet them. Hi, Charmaine.
Hi, I'm Charmaine Hammond with CharmaineHammond.com. I work with organizations to help them resolve conflict and build healthy, resilient teams. My book is GPS Your Best Life. And, there's so many things I love about the Women's Speaker Association. What jumped out for me after joining was the sense of community and collaboration. It's seriously off the charts. And I'm calling in from Oceanside, California, where the sun is shining.
It is shiny here. I'm in San Diego myself too, and it's great to have you. And truly, collaboration is key in Women's Speakers Association, and that's why we're doing this here today. So let's also say hi to our next expert, Heather. Hi, Heather.
Hi, I'm Heather Markel with bull2brilliance.com. I am a business coach. I am based in New York, but today phoning in from Phoenix, Arizona. I feel so lucky to be here. It's beautiful. And I actually just joined WSA, so just in like the first week, I have already talked to the most amazing women, and I'm really looking forward to the adventure.
Welcome to the adventure. I love it. And Kristi, hi, welcome.
Hi, I'm so glad to be here. I'm Kristi Ling. I'm a life and business coach and happiness strategist. My website is kristiling.com, and my brand new book, which I have a copy of here, is Operation Happiness, the 3-step plan to creating a life of lasting joy, abundant energy, and radical bliss. It comes out March 1st. Yay! And I have been a member of WSA since the beginning, and I'm a huge fan. I love the sense of community and connection that they provide for women, and I've met so many amazing friends in the years I've been a member. So thank you for having me.
Oh, thank you for being such an awesome member and long time. Now, we have an opportunity to get to know you all a little bit better and the great work you do in the world. So my question is, let's talk about what lights you up and the impact you're making in the world. And who do you work with and what do you do? Charmaine.
Oh, there's so many things that light me up, but right now what really lights me up is the conversations and the work we're doing around kindness. We just got back from a 14,000 kilometer, 10,000 mile kindness tour, and that really lights me up, hearing people's stories about how kindness has impacted their life, how kindness is rippling out into the workplace, and that's the mission we're on right now.
Awesome. Thank you for that great mission. I mean, who would have thought to have a mission of kindness? That's awesome. It's very feel good and transformational. So it's more powerful than one would think. It's great. Heather, let's hear about your work, the good work you're doing, and the impact you're making.
Sure, I love Charmaine's impact too. So what I do is I work with service-based entrepreneurs to maximize their profit with a customized business strategy. And what I'm really doing at the core is actually tapping into the real individual uniqueness and wonderful energy of each of my clients and bringing that forth in their life and their business. And so what I love seeing is when an entrepreneur comes to me feeling just completely downtrodden and feeling like either they have to give up or they just cannot figure out how to make their business work, and watching them transform into a confident entrepreneur who is excited about what they do and doing what they love and making money at it is an amazing experience.
Wow, thank you for making that possible for more and more entrepreneurs today. That's wonderful. And Kristi, tell us about your good work and the impact you're making.
Thanks. Wow, we have such amazing stuff to talk about today. I love it. So I teach the science of happiness. I teach happiness and success strategies based on a foundation of lasting happiness. And the primary message that I love to share, which is the foundation of the book that I wrote, is to help people rethink happiness, to see it not just as something that we feel or a choice, but actually as a skill, as a life skill that we can learn and become good at. Because when we start approaching it as something we do instead of something we just feel, that's when everything changes. And what really lights me up is hearing people say, and I hear this quite often, is, oh, I never thought of it that way. That little shift that happens where somebody's like, oh, I got it. I got that. I'm going to go for it. And that's where the change begins. Love it.
Yeah, I love it too. Having a say in your happiness, right? That's
Yes.
great.
It's all through
So,
action.
yeah, so let's talk about how each of you got into this, or maybe a story of how you help somebody with your mission. So, Charmaine, do you have a story for us?
I do. I started my career out actually in the correctional system. I was a correctional officer for many years. I know it's hard to believe I'm 4'11" and nothing, but I was a correctional officer, and not the kindest environment to work in, as you can imagine. And I remember seeing the impact for us as correctional officers when kindness was shared, and it kind of, that's where the seed was planted. And then fast forward many years later, I wrote a book about my dog called On Toby's Terms. His name is Toby. And we went into a school to do a presentation. And this little guy had been removed from the classroom 3 or 4 times. He was being a little naughty, and the teacher brought him back in right at the end, and Toby just gravitated to this little guy. And he walked up to Toby and hugged him, and he said, "Thank you for loving me for who I am." And you can imagine, I got so emotional. And I thought, wow, they get it. They get kindness. And that's the impact I started to see, is that kindness can come from simply those examples of unconditional acceptance. And that's what I really wanted to start teaching in the workplace.
Beautiful. Thank you. Wow. Taking kindness from the classroom to the corporate. That's so great. It works, right? Ever has a deep impact. So, Heather, I bet you have a great story for us.
Yes, and by the way, Charmaine, to your 4'11", I'm only 5'2", and I used to play basketball, so shout out for the petite ladies. So my story is succinctly that I was married to the perfect man for my mother. And in the process of realizing that this was not the right man for me and going through the process of divorce, what I learned is that I actually have spent a lot of my life making choices that were in line with other people's ideals and dreams and not my own. And that made me kind of dull myself down and not be myself. And I realized that I was stuck and struggling in my life and my business, quite simply because I was creating thoughts and judgments about myself that helped me avoid being myself. And so I realized what I call that bull. And I realized bull really cripples us. It can be physical, it can be in our business and our life. And as I in my business shifted, came out of the marriage and started really understanding who I am at the core and really owning my uniqueness, I started infusing that into everything I do, and and my profits got so much bigger. And now what I do is I help entrepreneurs bust their bull, boost their brilliance, and create tons of profit in their own business. And it's a real transformational process, both internally and externally.
Wow, busting your bull and build your business. I love it. That's great. We got kindness, bull, and busting and
Brilliance. Yep.
business for brilliance. I love it. And I know, Kristi, you have a story to tell in your expertise.
I do, and I was going to mention too, I think some of the most successful businesses come out of personal transformation. Somebody has gone through some sort of personal transformation, which is a catalyst for them to be successful in what they want to do and how they want to serve the world. So I love that. So for me, I also sort of have a long story in my background. I was on a 10-year journey to change my life. I struggled with general unhappiness and anxiety and on and off depression my whole life up until my very early 30s, and finally I hit a wall and I decided I did not want to live like that anymore, that it would be more painful to stay where I was than it would be to leap and make a change. So I dove into what ended up being a 10-year journey to decode happiness, to change my own life. But along the way, I discovered some things that were so powerful and so effective that I started to feel called to share them with the world, because I was like, I can't keep these things to myself. They're so amazing and powerful and life-changing. I've got to start sharing it. So I began incorporating happiness coaching into my existing business. And that side of it just took off and expanded into blogging and writing and speaking. And that was about 8 years ago, and I've been doing happiness ever since. And it led to the book. So yeah, I really love the work I do.
Awesome. It's just such a feel-good kind of environment we've created here on today's show that I want to invite everyone in to our living room. Hopefully you feel like you're in the living room giggling with us and enjoying us. But I want to take our conversation a little deeper, and that's why I want you to feel like you're in the living room with us. And I know, you have these inspiring stories, and I'm sure you have a piece of wisdom that could really, help somebody in this moment. And so I would like each of you to share, a piece of wisdom, a piece of advice that someone could take and bring more kindness or happiness or busting into, bull busting into their life. So let's go around and share that. How about you, Charmaine?
Oh, I love what Kristi was saying, how people's businesses are created often by their life experience, and that was my case. My tip would be, it's kind of twofold. My struggle was asking for help. I would go at things and not ask for help, which is not necessarily a good thing when you're in business. And I learned that that was coming from being a perfectionist. And it was actually my dog Toby, believe it or not, that took me out of being a perfectionist. But when I let go of the need to be perfect, it's amazing what happened. And I discovered the courage to be able to ask for help. And that would be one of my tips, is asking for help and moving away from perfectionism.
I'm taking a deep breath. I need that one. Thank you for that reminder. It's really, really important. Okay, Heather, what do you got for us?
Well, that's really funny because perfection bull is a big one I come across in entrepreneurs. My tip is to really be yourself in everything you do. And I know that can be a challenge because when you're really truly yourself, what happens is some people just don't resonate with you. So you need to make it okay to actually be you and accept that some people don't resonate with you. That's not a reason to not be you, to get them to like you. Instead, let them go and find your tribe and just exude everything you are and everything you do.
And I would imagine that some people don't even know that they're not being themselves.
Yep, absolutely.
They're too caught up in like, I've got to be this way.
Yeah,
so
and that's where I come in and I call them out and I pull them out and then we have more fun.
Exactly. Awesome. Fabulous. Okay, Kristi, give us the key to happiness.
Definitely. And Heather, I love what you just said too. There's a quote I love that really punctuates that. I think it's from Dita Von Teese, and it's, you can be the juiciest, ripest peach in the world, and there's still going to be people who don't like peaches.
I love it.
So just concentrate on being the juicy, ripe peach, and don't worry about the people who don't like peaches, and you're good. So I love that. So I do have a little story, and I shared earlier about how just that little shift of beginning to think of happiness as a skill that we can learn and practice and become good at is so huge. If you wake up every day thinking, how am I going to take part in my happiness today? How am I going to actively create it and practice that and get better at it? That is huge. And a little story, too, on a different note, but sort of along the same lines, is in your life, when in business or going after your dreams or whatever it is, don't listen to the naysayers, because they're always going to be out there. And the people judging you and the people who don't like you, like we were saying, are always going to be there. And a few years back, when I was first developing the concept to write a book on happiness, I actually hired a very well-known editor to help me put together my first proposal, which I ended up trashing and rewriting. But I was told that I would not get a book deal for a book on happiness because I wasn't well-known enough. And it was too broad a topic for somebody who was not well-known. And I was like, but I have something different and important to say. You know, I really believed in it. And so it shook me a little bit, but I didn't let it stop me, and I kept on going. And it took me a few years, but I got to where I am now, and now I have a fabulous publisher who's amazing and loves my work. So just don't listen to the naysayers. If you feel called to share a message, if you feel called to start a business, whatever it is in your life you want to go after, there are going to be people telling you no. Just don't listen.
So fabulous. It's, the wisdom that has been given here today is so invaluable, and it may take some courage to put into place. And what I love about Women Speakers Association is that we come together in camaraderie, collaboration, and community and give you that courage. So if you are not yet a member of Women Speakers Association, we're not just a speaking association. As you can hear, we have wisdom, a wise cadre of women in community supporting each other on all levels, including getting business, including busting through those tough, parts of our being that we really need to start shifting and being more kind and using happiness to our advantage and creating that skill. I love all that. You guys are like amazing, the wisdom that we got here today. So everyone, if you are called to be a part of us, join WSA.com. That's where you can get a free associate membership. Yep, I said free. There's lots of benefits at the premier level, but you can start with us at joinwsa.com. This has been a fabulous episode. I am so grateful for each of you for being here. We will see you next time. Thanks again. Bye for now.
Bye. Thank
Bye.
you.
Thank you.
Bye. Thank
Bye.
you.
Bye.
See you.
See you.
Bye.